Les tengo una súper entrevista, nada más y nada menos con la capitana del equipo nacional de los Estados Unidos y además es campeona del mundo. Este video además está presentado por mis amigos de Instabet que usando mi código promocional les van a dar el 150% más en su primer depósito. Entonces vayan y aprovechen esta promoción, pero recuerden que lo hagan después de esta entrevista que está súper cool. Bienvenidos a mi canal Fuera de Cancha y hoy, cara a cara con Becky Sauerbrunn.
If you're ready, we can start.
Let's do it.
All right, cool. So Becky, we know that on the field, you're a hard worker, but tell me, off the field, what are your passions? What do you like doing that keeps you busy?
Oh man, I really like reading. And so you'll usually find me if I'm off the field or in camp or something, my face is in a book, just reading. I do usually play video games as well. Like, as you know, playing soccer, sometimes you need to get your mind away from it. And so when I really get away from it, some video games can definitely take up some hours for me.
All right, what type of video games do you like playing? Do you like playing Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, or what type of console do you use?
I definitely have become a Switch person now that it's mobile. It's easy. Yeah, it's easy to use when you're on the road. And so like Zelda is probably like my all-time favorite game. And then recently I've been playing Hades. So I'm kind of all around when it comes to genre of video game, but the Switch has been like one of the best inventions.
I totally agree with that. And changing the subject a little bit, have you read the book Wolfpack from Abby Wambach?
She actually sent it to me. Abby, obviously, and we played together for a bunch of years, so she sent me a copy, and yeah, no, definitely read it.
Amazing book, and I totally recommend it to any person out there because it just motivates you reading that. So it's a great book. It's a really great book.
Yeah, I mean, she's always been like a very motivational person, and so I think for her to be able to share that with the rest of the world and like get something down into a book is really great because she's just like a force to be reckoned with.
That's amazing. So on average, how many hours a day do you train?
Oh my. Well, if it's in season, it's usually probably like 2 to 3, depending on if we have a lift after a training session.
Okay.
Off season, it's actually a little bit longer. It can be like 2 to 4 hours, depending on what I need to get done.
Okay.
And then recovery, as you know, is like the new hot thing to do. And so if you take in whatever you do for recovery.
Okay, and after like a long day of training, what do you like to do to relax? Other than reading and playing Nintendo Switch, because those are your passions outside the field.
Yeah, so honestly, like cooking has become kind of like a 45-minute Zen period for me where you're just kind of like chopping vegetables and making food and you're like, oh, this is like really pleasant. I'm just kind of like, there's no TV on. I'm just like with myself in the kitchen with my own thoughts and it's really pleasant.
This is a really tough question, okay? How do you keep the locker room so reunited when you have all the best players in the world in one locker room with all different personalities? Like, what's the key?
Wow, I mean, it really is so much dependent on each person. And I think when you get to a certain level, you have to have a certain amount of selflessness. And you have to know that like everybody's journey is so different. And so you have to have respect for one another's journeys. Okay. And for some people, it comes really easy. You know, they just happen to be a starter ever since they were 5 years old. And other people, like sometimes you're not on the team, sometimes you're in the team. And so really, I think it's just a respect thing. And so you kind of know there's only 11 spots on the field. Like some days you're not going to be on there. And really it's about that person like accepting that and working towards being that starter, but knowing that sometimes it's just not going to fall your way. And like, what kind of person are you going to be when it doesn't fall your way?
Okay, I think that's an amazing answer because respect, I think you should always take that with you on and off the field. And I mean, hearing this, that you guys always have respect in the locker room and it reflects how you guys play like on the pitch. So I think that's really cool and good thing like that happens with your team because I mean, imagine having the best players in the world. I mean, there's only 11 starters. Me and you know that like really perfectly. So I bet that's like really hard, but you guys, I think, control that really good, and that reflects off the field. So congratulations, you guys are amazing. I really admire every single one of you, and you guys keep doing your thing and keep winning.
Well, I will say that, I mean, it can definitely be hard sometimes. Like you see people that struggle, and it's about picking each other up too when you see people that are struggling, and it's definitely tough. Like people are crying in the shower sometimes, like you have to get by the way that you can. But when it comes down to it, like you have to be a good teammate.
Yeah, definitely. Being a good teammate, I think, is key, because at the end of the day, I feel like teams are like families. So if you treat one with each other with like respect, you're gonna go a long way, and not only in the soccer level, but also your personal life.
Definitely.
So this is, I think, is probably one of the complicated questions. Okay, so we all know, and it's really clear that you're one of the best players, well, defenders specifically in the world. But who is the most difficult to defend? It can be a teammate, or it can be someone from another team.
Oh, that's a great question. So in the States, like there's obviously some really good forwards that I have to go against, but I never have to do it at the international level. So I definitely want to go with another player from a different country. I'll say with the French national team, Samir.
Okay.
I think she's excellent, and she's definitely had my number a few times. The times that I've gone against Marta, like she's always kind of like this ageless wonder that will pull things out of her pocket that you're like, how are you doing this? From Germany, there's Anja Mittag. I think she just retired last year, but I've been playing against her since I was like 16, and she's another player that I've always been like, wow, like very, very good.
You are naming like really good soccer players, and it just gives me the goosebumps that you have played against them, because I always just watch through the television. So you playing against them, that's amazing, and congratulations really from like all of the soccer success that you've had and that you will continue to have. So congratulations again.
Thank you.
Have you ever heard of La Liga BBVA MX Femenil? That's the women league here in Mexico. Have you heard of it?
I've heard, yes, absolutely.
And what have you heard of it?
There's a bunch of teams, way more than the NWSL. I hear you've got 18 teams, all paired up with men's sides.
Yes.
So I know that. I believe Tigres won last year.
Yeah, they beat us in the final.
You guys getting like 50,000 people at some of your games, and it's just fantastic. Like it just makes me as like a women's soccer player like so happy and proud.
Yeah, definitely. The support, you definitely feel it at the stadiums, and we also get nationally broadcasted or televised our soccer games. So that's really cool. Because I feel like in the NWSL, some games get broadcasted, not all of them. Correct me if I'm wrong. From all the teams.
You're right. So sometimes within your own city, you'll have your games broadcasted on a local channel. And then sometimes maybe like 8 or 10 games a season will be on like a big channel in the States, like CBS or something, where a lot of people can watch. But that's something I think we really need to work on with our league, is really getting the product that we put on the field seen by more people.
Yeah, definitely. Well, here we get broadcasted nationally, so, and sometimes even internationally. So, and the transmission gets broadcasted in the US. So I think that's really cool. And I think the league has only been 3 years since it started, but we're working on it. I mean, good things have happened, but there's always stuff to like change, you know. But do you think, do you see the possibility of the two leagues competing against each other in the near future?
I would love that. I think if we could get something along the lines like what the men have when it comes to the CONCACAF Champions League, I think that would be so great. And I think the more that we can like broaden the women's game and bring like our forces together and just show the world like what we can do, I think so much the better.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. How can we do it to get a friendly with the Portland Thorns? I play for Rayadas. I don't know if you heard of them, but we won second place last tournament, and our city is here in Monterrey. But if we can get a scrimmage up there, it would be amazing, because I'm from Portland. So, I mean, my family's up there. That would be amazing. Let's talk to Gavin really Wilkinson. Great. He was my club coach. Seriously? Yeah, Gavin was my club coach. I played for Eastside. Do you Eastside? No.
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay, yeah.
Yes.
So I played for Eastside, and Gavin was my club coach. I know Gavin personally, and he's always telling me, hey, let's Portland, let's go. But this was a long time ago. I actually lost communication with him, but it would be great to get an international friendly with you guys. That'd be amazing.
I mean, he's the guy to talk to. He is the GM of my team now, so.
That's amazing. Yeah, well, I totally lost contact with him, but I think I still have him on LinkedIn, actually. I'm gonna try to get his email or something.
I can give that to you.
Oh, perfect. We got a deal. That'd be amazing. And maybe we can swap jerseys at the end of the game. That'd be cool.
Absolutely.
Cool. Okay, so last question, and once again, thank you. So there's no doubt you're a role model to many people, and you continue to inspire the new generations of athletes. But what advice or recommendations do you give them?
I think if thinking back to the player that I was and the person that I was when I was younger, I was so afraid of making mistakes and not being good at things. And I think that is such a deterrent to just growth. And so I would tell players be okay making mistakes. The problem comes when you keep making the same mistake, but if you don't make mistakes, you're never gonna learn. And so I think sometimes you have to be a little bit more free and you have to challenge yourself. And the only time you really see growth is when you're learning from the things that you don't do well. And for me, I see that so much in young kids that if they're not good at something immediately, they just stop doing it. And that's why I think a lot of women are not playing sports as long as they would like to. And so it's just make mistakes and just learn from your mistakes.
That's amazing, because I wish someone would have told me a long time ago, because you're totally right. I mean, as a young kid, you're always scared that the coach will yell at you, or your parents will say something to you, or even your teammates would say something to you. But no, you always learn from an error. And I totally agree with you. And I wish I told you, I would have learned this a long time ago. If not, I think I would be a complete different player. I mean, right now, I'm really proud of the player that I am, but this message that you just gave is golden. So all the young players, young athletes that are hearing this, please take this. This is a great advice. So thank you once again. And I think the interview is completed. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks again for having me.
Muchas gracias. You can say that, right?
Oh, yes. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. Yes. Excelente. Muchas gracias. Thank you.
Muchísimas gracias por ver este capítulo, pero recuerden de darle like, comentar y activar las alertas. Nos vemos el próximo episodio.